we opened somehow the world's first permanent exhibition in 1997, and has done since then over 30 exhibition projects by our own or as corporations. We have started collecting since then. Meanwhile, we have over 16,000 games in our collection. We have also a big hardware collection of almost every video game system and home console computer system which was sold in Europe. We also have a few coin-ops, a few arcade machines, and we have magazines, over 10,000 magazines. We have video collection all around computer culture. If I say we, I mean the organization who is owning the Computer Game Museum. It's a private, non-profit organization based in Berlin. And another project which this organization founded was the German age rating system for computer games. And this has started in cooperation with the German Games Industry Association in '94. And somehow the idea to found a computer game museum was born from the feeling that computer games are much more than only toys for children. Computer games are so old as computers. And I have found, or there are some examples existing, which prove that the scientists who invent computers in the late 40s, like Claude Shannon, for example, which is one of the pioneers from North America, that he was very interested in computer games, and he researched how a computer program can be programmed which is able to play chess, because he thought that if a computer is able to play chess, a computer can much more than only calculate numbers. And that was his vision. And the chess game was a vehicle for him to reach that. And then we have over the 50s and 60s where computers were invented already and were used in usually university and research laboratories. We have a lot of mainly young scientists and students who had access to computers at this time, who just had fun programming games, and most of their colleagues played it because it's just fun to play games. And so we have an academic time where computer games are programmed and used. And it started to become commercial in 72. This is very much related to this game. You might also know it's a bat here, a bat there, and a ball between. It's called Pong or other names, but this became the first home video game, and this also became the first coin-op. Different companies, but same game. And because it was successful from the start, and also because hardware at this time in the early 60s became cheap enough for a consumer product. In our understanding, games are a new medium. And the thing which is new compared to other mediums is that you can interact with. And our aim with our exhibitions, also with articles or other talks we are organizing or doing, is to somehow explain people who are not that familiar with games what they are. So we are translators somehow. And so it's important for us in our exhibitions to offer our visitors the opportunity to interact with, because it's so different if you're just looking someone playing over the shoulder or watching let's say a television broadcast about games, but being in that passive reception position. The gamer has a very different experience of the very same thing on the screen because he's connected with it. And this is very important to experience, and the only and easiest way to understand this is just play by your own. We understand games as the first popular artifacts which enables non-experts to navigate into virtual digital environments, to interact in virtual environments, and also to communicate in virtual environments. It was not easy to understand this in the 70s and early 80s, but now we understand it. So they somehow passed the road for our whole society because they are so old. They are the oldest popular digital-born artifacts. And so it is important for our society to understand where it comes from. What we see now with the internet and social networks, mobile access, all this stuff. So we understand how important it is, and a big important source where this comes from are these early games. And so that's one reason why it's important to preserve them. For example, World of Warcraft is such a game which opened our eyes. Because it's when it was released in, I think, 2005, something like that, maybe 2006, online games were something for somehow special communities. But World of Warcraft was the first game who attracted players from all over the world, which has not used to play online games or even games by themselves. And it started our awareness that it somehow is a second part of our life. It could become a second part of our life because an online game is very much consisting out of the social interactions of the gamers. You have responsibility in an online game. You are part of a group of others, and you only can solve some tasks, you only can win battles if you are doing it together. Of course, also causes problems, because if your daughter is crying and you're in the middle of such a battle, so yeah, you have a conflict here. And of course another problem is that you might get the feeling that you're losing contact with your real physical context. Right now, the games are going into these social network things. That's the most recent hype. And what will happen is that these social network things are expanded to real space. That I just know, oh, a friend of mine, which I know from my social network, is just in the bar in the neighbor house. Can go over, that's logical to develop it. And so games also will be part of this mixed reality spaces. Entertainment is a very driving factor, also economical. Discussion about addiction comes from games, but it's much, much more about. And what it shows us is, and this is a challenge for our whole society, and I'm not only talking about the German society, is that we have to find a balance between our physical reality, which is still there. I still have a body and I really depend on it. And this new kind of virtual realities. And this is the context we are treating games.